Hari Om. Start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhattvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. Let's chant 56 sloka. Avang manasa gamyam tat avang manasa gamyam tat sopasya miti cettada sopasya miti cettada avang manasa gamyasya vedanam nacha sambhavet vedanam nacha sambhavet. Together. Avang manasa gamyam tat sopasya miti cettada avang manasagam yasya vedanam nacha sambhavet. So here started Vidyaranya in the 9th chapter of Panchadasi about the meditation on Nirguna Brahma. That is after understanding and the Vedanta Shravanam and Mananam and Nididhyasanam to the degree that I understand the Brahman and I also understand through Mahavakya Vichara that Brahman is nothing but myself. But that Vichara has not been completely successful because I am not abiding in the knowledge that I am Brahman. So a lot of people have problem. They understand Brahman but not able to claim that they are Brahman. What is the problem? Because of Pratibandha. And what should I do to remove it? There are different types of Pratibandha. And if the Pratibandha is either on the basis of the Pramana or Prameya or Viparita Bhavana, there are techniques for it. But that Pratibandha means obstacle, that is cannot be quantified properly, adrishtam, which cannot seen. I don't know why I am not able to recognize. If I say it's called adrishtam, and that can be removed by the one technique here is Brahma Upasana. Brahma Upasana means Aham Brahmasmi Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Upasana, where I am meditating on that without any gunas. So how can you do that? How can you meditate on something? Because any meditation involves for the mind to focus, and the mind can only focus on an object. Object should have an attribute. Therefore, only in a Saguna Brahma, in a Vishnu, I think of a form of Vishnu. Or Shiva, I think of a form in a Shiva as described or as seen in the photos and all descriptions and all that. But how can I meditate on a Nirguna Brahma without formless? And therefore, if somebody objects here, that's what the objections are against the Nirguna Brahma. So Vidyaranya takes different types of objections against it, and he tries to go that answers some of the objections and then gives what is the nature of the Nirguna Brahma Upasana. So here one of the objections is avang manasa gamyam tad sopasyam iti chet. So avang manasa manyas avak manasaha gamyam. Neither the walk, neither the speech nor the mind is agamyam. It cannot go. Means may the navaggachati na manaha. See, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So these are the Vedic statement that says the mind cannot reach there and the speech cannot reach there. Then how can I meditate on that? So that's the question. How can you meditate on that where mind has to meditate and I cannot meditate with the mind? And that's a statement here. Avang manasagamyam tadu saha upasyamiti iti chet. In case if you ask that question, tadha, in that case, avang manasagamyasya vedanam nacha sambhavet. Then in that case, even the knowledge cannot take place. You say only through knowledge I can, not by meditation. Meditation is an action, whereas knowledge is not Purushatantram, it is Vastutantram. It depends upon the object, not on the subject who is doing. So I cannot act to get the Brahman. because any action is nakarmana anaprajaya. So nakarmana anaprajaya, then natyage naiki amrutatva manasahu. So but not by action, nakarmana. So upasana is a manasika karma. So how can you say, if you say like that, then how can you know also? Because the Brahman is aprameyam, cannot be known. Then it is beyond the speech and the so avang manasa gamyasya. Because of the same reason, you cannot know either. If I can know through knowledge, then I can do upasana also. That's a justification here. Avang manasa gamyasya vedanam nasa sambhavet. Therefore, you cannot even know Brahman. Next, sloka 57. Vāgādhyāgocarākāram Vāgādhyāgocarākāram Icchevam yadi vettisau Icchevam yadi vettyasau Vāgādhyāgocarākāram Vāgādhyāgocarākāram Ityupasita no krutaha Ityupasita no krutaha. So asau is this knowledge of Brahman. Yadi, if vag adi agocharam, it is incomprehensible and it cannot be described or it cannot be thought of. So it is gocharam. Gocharam means it cannot be visualized either through the mind or by the speech. So asau, this Brahman, yadi, if vag adi agocharam, incomprehensible by the speech, etc. Iti evam, in this way, vetti, known, then in that way you are learning. So how do I know what it is, that which cannot be known, that avididamba, vedidamba, that's how Upanishad talks about. It is neither known or unknown, and navaggacchati namanaha, and at the same time it is being pointed out. So in the same way also you can do upasana. That is the whole argument here. So Vagyad agocarākāram iti eva yadi vettis. If you can know that which cannot be known by, which cannot be comprehended by the speech or the mind, then one can meditate also. Vagyāda gocarākāram ityupasita no krutaha. So there is no problem in doing the kutaha na upasita. Why can't one do meditation also? If I can think of learning and knowing and process of learning that which cannot be known, then I can meditate also which cannot be meditated. That's the same logic applies. So knowledge is, then he says, the knowledge is not directly done. Knowledge is through pointers. It's not a vachyartham, it is a lakshyartham. You have to think in the direction. That's what is the contemplate on the direction to knowledge takes place. And that's what is being pointed here in the next sloka. Sagunatvamupasyatvad Sagunatvamupasyatvad Yadi vedjyatvatopi tat Yadi vedjyatvatopi tat Vedyam se lakshana vrutya Vedyam se lakshana vrutya Lakshitam samupasyatam. So together, sagunatvamupasyatvad Yadi vedjyatvatopi tat Vedyam se lakshana vrutya Lakshitam samupasyatam. So upasyatvat, by upasana, sagunatvam yadi, if one can argue that I can do meditation on saguna upasana, vijyatvataha api. So as an object of my knowledge, I can do on saguna upasana on something that I can think of with gunas, with attributes. If iti chet, so if says I can do on a saguna but not on a nirguna, if you say so, same way lakshitam, in the implied ways, samupasyatam, one can also meditate upon it, and the nirguna brahma. Says, if you can do saguna brahma is actually cannot be, because brahman is nirguna. But I am invoking as though saguna brahma, and invoking the form for me to meditate on. That is, when I say Lord Vishnu is Anantam, therefore he is infinite, that is Brahman. At the same time, I am invoking in a particular form, and even though that's not the final, I can use that as a means for me to go beyond. So called Lakshyartham. It is a means to go beyond, using that as a vehicle for me. The same way you can use the same Aham Brahmasmi or Nirguna Brahma as means to go beyond, as to recognize the Brahman. Next, this argument will go on for some time, where Vijayaranya is justifying the Nirguna Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Upasana, same way as Saguna Brahma Upasana. There is not much difference, because one can do it. Even though it is a Nirguna Brahma Upasana itself is oxymoron, because you cannot do Upasana on something which is formless. But at the same time, mentally recapitulating the ideas of the Vedanta, one can meditate on that, is the whole process. 59. Brahma viddita devatvam, Brahma viddita devatvam, natvidam yadupasate, natvidam yadupasate, iti sruti Rupaya upasyatvam, iti sruti rupasyatvam, nishiddham brahmano yadi, nishiddham brahmano yadi. Together, Brahma viddita devatvam, natvidam yadupasate, iti sruti rupan upasyatvam, nishiddham brahmano yadi. So another big objection is put here. Tvam tat eva Brahman. You are that Brahman. That is a statement by the Upanishad. Viddhi, know that you are that Brahman. Yatu, by that statement, idam na upasate iti ched. If you say this cannot be done by upasana, by doing practice, this is Brahman, this is Brahman, this is Brahman means this is infinite. So you cannot do upasana where the mind says the objectifying, at the same time it's beyond the objectification. So there is a contradiction in the process. So if you say you cannot do upasana on any form or the attributive Brahman, it is said, in case you object, Srutehe by the Upanishad, Brahmanaha upasyatvam nishiddhayadi. By stating that you cannot do upasana and that you have to contemplate it, sagnya tad vijnasasva, you have to inquire. So it's an inquiry is required. Inquiry is not a upasana. Inquiry requires a mind about knowledge to take place. And knowledge is not the Purusha Tantram, it is Vastu Tantram. It doesn't depend on me. Therefore, you cannot do upasana. If you say that, so nishiddham yadi. So the scripture prohibits any upasana on the Nirguna Brahma. And if you say so, then listen to the answer. In the 60, it says, Vidita adanya deveti, vidita adanya deveti, srutehi vidyattvamasyana, srutehi vidyattvamasyana, yatha srutyaiva vedyam, yatha srutyaiva vedyam. Yatha srutyaiva vedyam ched, yatha srutyaiva vedyam ched, tatha srutyapyupasatam, tatha srutyapyupasatam. Together, vidita anya deveti, srutehi vidyatvam anyasa manyana, vidvattvamasyana, yatha srutyaiva vedyam ched, tada srutyapyupasyatam. So, viditat anyat. So, scripture says, what is that? It is different from the known. So, you have to know what? It is different from the known. This is a contradiction. So I have to know Brahman. How do you know Brahman? It is that which cannot be known. It is different from the known. It is different from the unknown also later. Viditam va, aviditam va. So it is neither known or unknown. It is the very knower itself. That's the whole implication is. So viditat anyat, other than the known, eva iti srutehi, that's what the Shruti says also. Asya of Brahman, Vedyatvam, as an object of knowledge. No, it is not an object of knowledge, but it is because that which cannot be known. See, because Viditat, any object of knowledge can be known, but it is not Vidita. It is that which cannot be known from the eyes. So, if you like looking at the ring and say what is gold, gold is not that what you see, what you know, or what you see. Here, seeing is knowing. I am seeing the ring only. But if you say I am seeing the ring, at the same time gold is there, I don't see gold. It says it's not what you see, but it's because of which the ring is. Because of which, without which the ring cannot be exist. That is gold. Same way, I had to contemplate, use an inquiry from what I see. So it's not something that I can see. If Shruti says I can use the same way for meditation also. That's what Yatha. In the same way, Srutya eva vedyam chet tatha. In the same way, Srutya api upasyatam. One, on the strength of the Shruti, one can meditate on that also, knowing that it is not that what I meditate, it is because of which I am able to meditate on that. That is essentially Aham Brahmasmi. And then what is the difference between knowing and worshipping, and what is the upasana versus knowledge? Is going to discuss all that. Avastavi vejyata ched, avastavi vejyata ched, upasyatvam nakim, vritti vyaptir vejyata ched, vrittir vyaptir vejyata ched, upasyatvepi tatsamam, together. Avastavi vejyata ched, upasyatvam nakim. Vritti vyaptir vejyata ched, upasyatvepi tatsamam. So vijyata, the knowledge, the knowability. Vijyata is knowability of Brahman. Avastavi is not really real. So knowability of the, say I want to know. So even the knowing of the process itself is mithya. So in practice, from the truth is, the Satchidananda is paramarthikam, and even the jnanam, ajnanam, knowing, not knowing, everything else is only at the transactional level, at the vyavaharika, mithya level. Therefore, avastavi. So vijyata, even the knowledge of Brahman is not really real, if you say so. If one argues, tada even upasana also is not really real, but at the transactional level you can do it. So that's what the justification here. Tada upasyatvam nakim. Why can't you apply the same logic to the upasana also? Vritti vyaptihi, the vritti vyapti and phala vyapti are there. When the thought engulfing on the object is called vritti vyapti, and the result of the knowledge is phala vyapti. In the case of Brahman, vritti vyapti is there. The inquiry is by the vritti, thoughts only. Thought process is there to know, because knowledge can only be removed by the thought process. And that's why vijnasasva, inquire, using the buddhi only. It's not go beyond the buddhi. But the phalam, the result is beyond the buddhi. It is ever evident, all the time present, because of which you are even inquiring. And that's how the scripture teaches there. So vritti vyapti is there, phala vyapti is not there for that. Same thing applies for the upasana also. So inquire, the meditating on that Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. So vritti is there, but the result is that Nirguna Brahma. Same applies, same logic applies for the upasana also. Okay, next. So what is scriptural support? Is there a scriptural support for the Upasana Nirguna Brahma is asking now. Kate bhakti rupasya ched, kate bhakti rupasya ched, kate bhakti rupasya ched, kaste dveshastadhirayah, kaste dveshastadhirayah, mana bhavo na vachesyam, mana bhavo na vachesyam, bahusrutishu darshanat, bahusrutishu darshanat. Together. Kate bhakti rupasya ched, kaste dveshastadhirayah, mana bhavo na vachesyam, bahusrutishu darshanat. So upaste in the meditation, te by you, ka bhakti ched, what is the devotion there? Because in the case of upasana for Saguna Brahma, there is a devotee and deity, and I am invoking all the attributes on the Lord, and then I am doing upasana. All the Ashtottara Namavali is glorifying the Lord. That is upasana. And that's what you meditate upon, on the nature of the reality, who is Ananta Kalyana Gunam. Infinite auspicious qualities are there in the Lord. So, if say what, that is how the bhakti comes into, devotion comes into the picture. So, what is bhakti in the formless one, which is infinite? There is no deity there for me to have a bhakti. If you ask like that, kate bhakti rupasya ched, say kaste deshastadhirayah, why are you so concerned about this? Why are you so angry, or why are you so against this? That's a question. Those people who are against the Brahma Upasana, apparently some people are there. Kaste dveshastadhirayah, mana bhavo na vacheso. So mana bhavaha, so mana abhavaha, mana bhavaha, the authority of the scriptural support, navachyam, do not. They ever say there is no authority for the scriptural support for the Nirguna Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Upasana, because Bahusrutishu Darshanat. It is stated in many scriptures, is the statement of Vidyaranya. So, what are the scriptures that are giving a validation for the Nirguna Brahma Upasana? And he is going to list now. Uttarasmin stapaniye saibhya prasneta khatake mandukyadau cha sarvatra nirgunopastirita. So nirguna upasti irita, the upasana on the Nirguna Brahma is being mentioned in many places, or described in many places. Number one, Uttarasmin Tapaniya, in the Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad, number one. Saibhya Prasni, in the question of Saibhya in the Prasnopanishad, Atha, and Kataka in the Kathopanishad, Cha, Mandukya in the Mandukya Upanishad, etc. So, etc. means Taittiriya and Mundaka Upanishads. Sarvatra, everywhere. Nirgunopasti. On the Upasana, on the Nirguna Brahma, Iritao is being described. In the Kathopanishad, you see differences. There is a first chapter, second section, 15 to 17 is slokas related to that. In the Mandukya Upanishad, in the first chapter, 12th mantra, that is essentially the Nanta pragyam na hibhagyam nobhayata pragyam na pragyana bhagyam na pragyam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigneyaha. That has to be known, which cannot be known. If you say that, that can be meditated, which cannot be meditated also. Same applies here. So how do you do Nirguna Upasana? That's what is going to be taught next. So he has given several Upanishads references here. One is Uttara, Tapaniya Upanishad, then in the Prashnopanishad, by question by the Saibhya, and in the Kataka is Kathopanishad, and Mandukya, as well as many others, which means Taittiriya, Mundaka, etc. Sarvatra, everywhere, Nirgunopaya, the Upasana of the Nirguna Brahman has been described. We'll go to 64. Anushtana prakarosyaha panchikarana iritaha jnana sadhanametaschet netikenatra varitam together. Anushtana prakarosyaha panchikarana iritaha jnana sadhanametaschet netikenatra varitam. Asyaha, of this Nirguna Brahma Upasanaha, on the Upasana of Nirguna Brahma, Anushtana Prakaram, what is the methodology of doing this Anushtanam, the methodology of doing the Upasana on the Nirguna Brahma? Panchikarano, in the Panchikarana Vartike, so in the Vartika of the Panchikarana Vartika or Panchikarana Vartika of the Sureshwaracharya, Iritam, it's been described very well how to do a Nirgunopasana Prakaram. The methodology has been described there. Etat Jnana Sadhanam, as a means of purification, if objected, if you say that that is only meant for before the knowledge takes place, it's only meant for purification of the mind, if objected, atra naiti, it's not so. Kena varitam, say, who denies that? So that it is not so, who is going to deny? That is true for purification of the mind, and also can be applied for the Nirgunopasana. Nirgunopasana has been described, a methodology, and that can be used if you object, say, if it is for purification, it can be used for purification also. Who is going to deny it? But also it can be used for after purification, after knowledge, because you are not able to sing, you can continue that upasana also. Therefore, who is going to object for that? So, you can use it for the purification of the mind before the knowledge takes place. You can use it after the knowledge, because of the obstacle to remove, even though I know it, but I am not able to abide in the knowledge. You can use the same upasana. And where is it described? It is essentially in the by Sureshwaracharya as described in Panchikarana Vartika. Nanu tishtati kopi ed. Nanu tishtati kopa etat. Nanu tishtati kopi etat. Iti chenmanu tishtatu. Iti chenmanu tishtatu. Purushasya aparadhena. Purushasya aparadhena. Kimupastihi pradushyati. Kimupastihi pradushyati. Together. Nanu tishtati kopi etat. Iti chenmanu tishtatu. Purushasya paradhena. Purushasya paradhena. Kimupasta pradushyati. Kahapi means no one. Etat, this Nirgunopasana na anuttishtati, no one can do it or has done it in the past. So if you say that, iti chet ma anuttishtati, let them not do. No one does it. This is let them not do. So this is not a compulsory for anybody to do it. So if you say that no one does this Nirgunopasana, people only do Sagunopasana. So they invoke on a form of Lord in the form and then do puja only. Nobody does puja without any form. Yeah, that's a Nirgunopasana. And if you say that, say let that be, there's no problem there. So let it not be practiced. Purushasya aparadhena, by mistaking for many that kim upaste, the upasana prapujyate, it's not the fault of the nirguna upasana. People don't do it, it's not a justification to say that upasana is wrong. That's what the whole statement is. Justification, if people don't do it, let them not do it. But that's not a justification to say that the upasana is wrong, because people don't know, or people they are not familiar, or people are not taught to remove this kind of problems. So if you have this problem, then it's those people who have the problem have to do it. They're all justification to say that Brahma Nirguna Upasana is valid, and therefore it is scriptural support. Then one can do even after studying the Vedanta. That has to be clear. Before studying Vedanta, if you do, it's only for purification of the mind. Ito pyatisayam matva mantranashvadikarinah mudha japantu tebhyah adhimudha krushimupasitam together. Ito pyatisayam matva mantran masyadikarinah mudha japantu tebhyah adhimudha krushim upasatam. Mudaha, so you give two examples to discredit this one. It says a lot of people do it. Mudaha mantran vasya adhikarinaha. Some people do meditation and mantras. Why? Because mantran vasya adhikarinaha, to overpower other people. So you do meditation of japa or a mantra so that you can master other people. That's what essentially. To overpower others. And he calls it mudaha. These are the deluded people. Iti api, more than this, atisayam matva, thinking that there is a superior japantu, they do japam, tebhyaha, so in comparison to them, atimudaha, some are more ignorant, and krushim, like farmers who do upasitam, they do upasana for quick results. So they do upasana on that. What do they do? Oh Lord, please make the crop quickly. Crop takes its own time, just like praying that let the baby grow fast. Instead of 9 months, maybe 3 months the baby grow. If somebody does the upasana, what do you call him? The stupid fellow says it has to take its natural course, and for that, whether you do upasana or not, you have to only provide the circumstances for it to grow, and that's all. Not the meditation on some sitting there and do japa on that. 67. Tishtantu mudaha prakruta nirgunopastiririyate vai vijyakyat sarvashakhastan gunanatropasamhared. So mudaha tishtantu, let the ignorance do whatever they think they do, because there is no point in trying to educate them. And prakrutaha, from their point, or in the present context, nirgunaha upastha, nirguna upasana iryate is described, vijyakyat, and to nirguna upasana being the same as sarvasakastan guna, all qualities and attributes of upasana, atra here, upasamhare. So let us compile all the things that are required for doing the nirguna upasana, leave the mudas who question these things. Mudas think that this cannot be done, or this is no scriptural support. All those we will leave aside And let's inquire what are the methods that are available to do this upasana. So 68. So now we are compiling on the nature of Nirguna Brahma, how the scripture defines and how we can do upasana on that. Anandadehi vidheyasya, Anandadehi vidheyasya, Gunasangasya samhrutihi, Gunasangasya samhrutihi, Anandadaya ichasmin, Anandadaya ichasmin, Sutre Vyasena Varnita, Sutre Vyasena Varnita. So where is this described about the Brahman, nature of Brahman, about the attributeless Brahman which cannot be described? If you ask, so Ananda Adehe, it says it is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma, and it says it is of the nature of Ananda. Ananda means happiness, it is a Swarupa Lakshanam. It says Ananda Adehe, it is of the nature of bliss, etc. Vidheyasya, in the that is to be known as it is of the nature of pure happiness, and in the affirmative way it is defined. So it doesn't say lack of dukkham, it says it is Ananda Swarupam. So Guna Sangasya, a group of attributes have been described. Samhruti have been compiled by who? By Vyasa. Nirguna Brahma attributes have been defined by Vyasa have been compiled. So how do you define a Nirguna Brahma? That's what Vyasa has done in the Anandadaya. In the Anandadaya, in the Brahma Sutra that talks about Anandadaya Pradhana, that is Brahma Sutra in the 3rd chapter and 8th section. The 3rd section in the 11th sloka, 11th mantra, it's been described as Anandadaya, and it is defined as Anandadaya Pradhanasya iti Asmin Sutre Varnita. So Asmin Sutre Varnita, it has been described in the Sutram as Anandadaya Pradhanasya iti, and that's how the Brahma Sutra talks about. And what are the attributes of the Nirguna Brahma, which is a oxymoron, because when you say attributes, it's a gunas only. But gunas that really point out, doesn't point at an object which cannot be objectified. And that's how the scripture takes the mind in that direction. And the same way, one can meditate in the same way too. That's what the whole point is. It's used for knowledge, but it's good for upasana also. So 69. Astulader nishedjasya, astulader nishedasya, gunasangasya samhruti, tatha vyasena sutresmin, uktakshara dhiyam tviti, together. Astulader nishedjasya, gunasangasya samhruti, tata vyasena sutresmin, uktakshara dhiyam tvati, tata, just as astula adehe. Astula means not stulam, that means not gross. So it's defined as astulam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshutotram tadapani padam nityam vibhu sarvagatim susukshnum yadbhuta yonim paripasyanti dhiraha. So it is astulam agrahyam agotram avarnam. It is in that description itself. Astulam is neither gross, neither subtle, neither small, neither big. Like that is defined by negating anything that belongs to that type has been negated. So therefore it's not this, it's not that, it's not that, but it's that because of which everything is also. So that's how the description of Nirguna Brahma is. Tada astula adehe, not gross, etc. Nishedjasya, by negating all that. Gunasangasya, and Samhrutim, compilation, Aksharadhiyam, etc. In the Brahma Sutra, Aksharadhiyam too. So there is a Brahma Sutra in the third, the chapter in the third, and 33 Sutra. It says Aksharadhiyam tu aparodaha samanya tadbhavabhyam aupanishadavat taduktam iti asmin sutre vyasena ukta. So in this sutra, Vyasa has described this, and for those who are interested, it is in the Brahma Sutra, third chapter, third adhyaya, and 33 mantra, and that he says Aksharadhyam tu aparodaha samanya tadbhavabhyam aupanishadavat taduktam iti asmin sutre vyasena mukta. So in this sutra, Vyasa has described this, and in the Brahma Sutra. Next mantra 70. Nirguna Brahma Tattvasya Vidyayam Guna Samhruti Nayujyete Upalambo Vyasam Pratyeva Mamnatu. Together. Nirguna Brahma Tattvasya Vidyayam Guna Samhruti Nayujyete Upalambo Vyasam Pratyeva Mamnatu. So if you think it is not proper attach attributes to the Nirguna Brahma, then Nirguna Brahma Tattvasya Vidyayam, in the Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Tattva Upasana, a Upasana on the nature of the reality of Brahman without having any attributes. So Nirguna Brahma Tattvasya Vidyayam, in the knowledge of that, or in the Upasana, Guna Samhruti, compilation of attributes, na yujyate, should not be allowed if you say for the Upasana. Iti Upalambaha, that is a sarcasm, because not about, to me, it is Vyasan Pratyeva. You are directing the sarcastic statement to the Bhagavan Veda Vyasa, Mamnatu, not to me. If you say you cannot use it for Nirgunopasana, it's only meant for as a Lakshartha to recognize that which is not of this type. So keep the mind in the Lakshartha, pointed in the direction for me to inquire, to discover. If you say that and not for meant for Upasana, then you don't argue with me, argue with the Veda Vyasa only. So he is describing or justifying the Nirgunopasana, and he will slowly introduce what Nirgunopasana is, because he is trying to do the objections that people have against the Nirgunopasana is being ruled out by different arguments here. With 71, we'll start in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.